Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We're the Bet Boost Brothers. I'm Willie D.
And I'm Big Mike, and we're excited to get into divisional round football today. In today's video, we'll do a brief recap of yesterday's action, kind of see where we're standing with our bets moving into Sunday, give you a preview of what we like for the day and what we're looking out for this afternoon, and hopefully have a successful Sunday and go from there. So let's jump right into it.
Let's do it. All right. So I think first let's go ahead and dive into a little recap how yesterday went. So as a summary, if you saw our video yesterday, we both targeted 5 bets for our promo playbook for Saturday. The 5 bets were the Bet365 50% boost, which we were most excited about. The DraftKings no sweat bet, which was the first bet we locked into our playbook on Thursday. The FanDuel Live 30% boost, where Mike and I sort of trailed each other. We
Mm-hmm.
kind of went the inverse from our Bet365 50% boosts. And then the final one that we talked about in the video was the ESPN $10 bonus bet, the deposit bonus match for the UFC 311. So those were the 4 that we talked about in the video. And then as we've also touched on, our strategy is to always check Bet365. Keep your eyes out for a super boost. If there's one that pops up for an event that you know you're going to watch, those are the best opportunities to really come up, and that's exactly what happened for us. Bet365 dropped their super boost, Mike, for UFC 311,
Yeah.
Islam to finish by submission.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, in general, it was pretty easy for him. It was one of the quicker fights of the night. With our UFC bonus bet, parlay was very close to hitting. We got the Jerry win, we got the Islam win, and then Umar just ran out of gas. Marab had a great
Yeah.
performance, but that one was really close, and unfortunately just didn't hit the mark. But luckily, it was just a bonus bet, so no loss there. And then we were able to come up big on the super boost.
Yeah, yep. That Islam one really came in clutch. I guess I'll quickly walk through my results. As you all can see at the bottom, we're going to be very transparent with how we went. So below, you can see my results from these 5 bets. Below Big Mike, you can see his results. He had a slightly better day. Congrats, Mike.
Thank you.
But I think hopefully as we go through this and as we go into our next segment, it's just important to keep in mind that it's important to have a strategy, and sticking to the strategy allowed me to really mitigate my losses,
Hmm.
and it allowed Mike to come out on top. I didn't see, oh, I was down after my first 4 bets and start chasing things. I stuck to the strategy. I'm going into today with a plan where I can still end the weekend out on top. But without further ado, I'll just jump in real quick into um, the bets and what went wrong. Not really, but so first we have the DraftKings bet. You can see it here on the screen. We talked about this in our first video. Mahomes 1+ passing touchdown. We said that would be a lock, and it was, even though it took a while to get there. And then the Chiefs money line that hit. It was C.J. Stroud. It was a tough day. I mean, they were all over him. Lots of sacks. Nico Collins was in and out of the game, so he didn't really have a go-to target consistently. He didn't come through with his passing touchdown. Not the end
Hmm.
of the world. Was a $5 bet. It was a no sweat bet. So even though you can see below, I'm down 6 on the day from yesterday, I do have a $5 no sweat bet in my back pocket to try to eat into some of that. And we'll talk about that later in the video, what I plan to do with that. So that was
Yeah.
the DraftKings bet. Were you gonna say something, Mike?
No, no, I sorry. I was just gonna jump in and follow up, but I think you covered it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a bet at the end of the day.
Hmm.
It was a small bet, so oh well.
Yeah.
I think the next bet that I had that we can dive into was the FanDuel Live 30% boost. So this one just had to be minus 200. I was trying to trail Mike's minus Michael's 50% boost from Bet365. Ultimately, this is really the same bet. We don't have to dive into it too much. Without the money line, it failed because of CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
So after these two bets, I was down 15, but I knew I had that no sweat bonus bet in my back pocket, so no need to panic here. My third bet from the playbook was the Bet365 50% boost. Another one that missed by just one leg. The Goff, the Daniels passing touchdowns, those happened in the first half. The Ertz 3 receptions, I think, happened in the first half, or whenever he got that, Zach Ertz got that touchdown.
Yeah, I think the
But really,
touchdown was his third.
the Lions just, they screwed me in fantasy football this year, their defense. So in my final, long story short, I should have known that Detroit's defense was not going to show up, and exactly what happened. So, oh well.
Yeah, I think you needed Purdy to stay under 30 points or something that last week, and they just let him
Yeah.
score.
Yeah. I think I just needed him under like 23 and a half points, and
Oh, yeah.
he'd only gone over that once all season, and then he got like 30 something against the Lions because I don't know, their defense just doesn't lock in or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then we talked about that. We talked about the super boost that popped up. I think it popped up shortly after recording this video. So I'm hoping that we get another super boost today, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Quick recap of my bets as well. As you can see, slightly more success, and that kind of just because we did a lot of trailing each other just shows you kind of the margin of just what one leg can do. For the no sweat bet, we had the Commanders. Plus 20. We ended up not needing that. But Jamar Gibbs, 75 rushing and receiving yards. That hit pretty early. And then
Yeah, that
McLaren
hit in like
50.
the first quarter, I think.
It hit early. I think it was obviously one of the first things to hit. And then McLaurin 50 yards. So a nice way to start out the day there. For the live boost, we got a little bit lucky then. We were trailing Will, but we took the result out. I know we talk about whenever we can try to take the result out. We
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to get to plus 100, which luckily this bet only needed us to get to minus 200, so I was able to make it a little bit easier to hit, and it did hit. So a bit fortunate there with the live boost win, and then with the same game parlay, that one for Bet365 with the super boost. Unfortunately, that was the one that missed, which was one of our bigger wagers, $15. But Mahomes didn't get his second passing touchdown. Stroud no passing touchdowns. Nico Collins got his receptions, but we said that was pretty. We felt pretty comfortable about that going in, and then um, Islam won, and we also missed the bonus bet. But overall, we're doing pretty good. I think we're sitting in a good spot. I'm sitting at plus 1993. And then, like Will said, Will's sitting at just -6, but he's also got that $5 bonus bet to play around with. So, without further ado,
Yeah.
we'll kind of let's jump into what we've got planned for today, because that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah. Let's dive into it. Super excited. Go Ravens. All right, let's dive right into it. So there are some great boosts out there today that we've already seen and that we've already jumped into. We're excited to share them with you. So as we touched on, me and Mike are in slightly different positions. So we're going to have a very similar approach here, but a few small key differences that kind of will highlight the strategy as to maybe a path you can take while you're down versus a path you can take while you're up. But holistically, we've got a very similar approach.
Mhm.
So first one I want to dive into is the no sweat bet, the no sweat bonus bet that I got from missing yesterday on
Mhm.
DraftKings. So Mike doesn't have this because his bet hit. So what I'll dive into here, you can see it on the screen. This one is not out of our plus 100 playbook, and that's just because the way I'm looking at it, I'm down 6 on the day. I want to target that $6 number. So with this bonus bet, I think if you find yourself negative on the day, use that bonus bet to just try to get back to even. I think that's the best approach if you're down on the day, I'll say. So what I'm looking at here is a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. He's been getting one or two a game, it feels like. So knock on wood, that'll happen. Ravens plus 2.5. And then Derrick Henry's 60 plus rushing yards. So this is a $5 bonus bet to pay out 640. So if this hits, my promo playbook will be even. Excited about that. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I like that bet. I mean, it's supposed to be cold. I don't know if there's snow on the ground or what the field conditions are going to be, but either way, whether if it was 75 and sunny or a little bit of snow, I expect Baltimore to run. So I think that bodes well for what we got going forward. But especially with it being a little bit colder, maybe they'll run a little bit more.
Hmm.
I mean, what did they
Sweet.
have? Almost 300 rushing yards in the last week's game, something like that
Hmm.
combined. Crazy.
Yeah. And then right here on the screen, didn't go over it in the recap because it's not finished yet, but just as a reminder from our previous video, I still have this play open going into the day. So that is a something else to look forward to. It kind of reaffirms that you don't need to go out and chase your losses with the
Hmm.
plan. With early games and late games, I've still got action going into both these games. Don't need to place an additional bet. This was the Caesars 50% boost, had to be plus 400.
Hmm.
So the Texans plus 17 and a half, that hit. The Commanders plus 17 and a half, that hit. So what's left? I need the Rams plus 17 and a half. That's the
Hmm.
first game. And if that can hit, that takes me into the big game I'm all excited about. Ravens money line and Lamar over 1.5 touchdowns. So the way this is structured, hopefully the Rams keep it within 17 and a half. And then, you know, I don't need to get too more expansive into that late game window, which is nice, especially being down on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think that sets you up in a good spot, And what we'll talk about next, I think, could potentially also set us up to be either in the positive or have even more to kind of go into that last game with as well. So without further ado, we'll jump right into it. So, as you know, we're always scouring the sites, looking for the best options on a daily basis, and even a game by game, hourly basis. And as we mentioned before, we really like the promos that they've been putting up on Bet365. Today's is a no sweat. Well, I think they call it a bet back, but it's a no sweat bet. $10 same game parlay plus 100, but it only needs to be two legs. So usually they have three leg requirements. This one only needs two. I think we maybe have three anyway, just to get to that plus 100. But you can play around with it and get it to two if there's something you like or you want to be a little bit riskier. Um, so for that, we're going with Saquon to score a touchdown. Yesterday, maybe we should be going against the trend, but a lot of rushing touchdowns took away a lot of our passing touchdowns yesterday, right, Will? So we're going rushing touchdown for the first game. We
Mm,
know it's close to a toss up between Hurts and Saquon, especially if they get to the goal line. But we're betting on Saquon. I feel like they owe him one over there in Philadelphia with him taking one for the team last or 2 weeks or last week, whatever it was, where he slid down, sitting out, not going for the rushing championship. He's due a
yep.
touchdown. They
It's
owe
his
him
time.
they owe him a carry. So hopefully he gets that across the line today. Matthew Stafford plus 150 passing yards standalone. That's like minus 1100, but we just needed that to get from like minus 105 or something to get to plus 100 to make it qualify. And then Stafford one
Yep.
passing touchdown. I think that's in the minus one, mid minus 100s. I don't know off the top of my head, minus 160, something like that. So hopefully that hits, but if not, we'll get that $10 bonus bet to parlay into the Baltimore game. But it should set us up pretty nicely.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And
additionally,
just to,
yep,
sorry, just to expand on this one, this is largely out of our plus 100 playbook. We did alter it a little bit. So the Saquon to score, that was part of our plus 100 playbook for this game. And the Matthew Stafford 1+ passing touchdown. The third leg we had in here was over 36 and a half, right, Mike?
yeah,
But
yeah,
that total has been in sorry, that total has been increasing, right? Or no,
mm-hmm,
it's been decreasing. Yeah. Sorry, the total's been decreasing, so the odds on that have gone in the wrong direction. So we tried to find a safer leg.
mm-hmm.
And that's why we plugged in that Matthew Stafford 150 passing yards instead of using the total. So now we've got no results, no totals involved. I feel a lot better than that, especially how I got burned yesterday by the Lions. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We always want Vegas on our side. And these numbers might vary side to side or might be slightly off. I think when we were looking this morning, 36 and a half was around minus 300 or 400. then the Stafford 150 yards was minus 1100. So from a Vegas perspective, there's no question that's a safer leg. So that's what we went with. And
Mhm.
then, as Will mentioned, we took slightly different approaches, just slight tweak to what my strategy, since I have a little bit of extra money to play with. Um, and I know this varied for me and Will a little bit, but there is a live same game parlay uh, boost on FanDuel, which was 3 legs. I believe it's plus 100 to qualify. For me, it was a 30% boost, so real similar to what we see on
Just to jump in,
Bet365.
Mike, it was
Yep.
a you said live boost, but it's just a straight up boost.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, live boost was
There you
yesterday.
go.
Today's just a straight up boost. So I've got it here on the screen. So this one you can actually lock in pregame. It's not live. It was 30% for me. It was 20% for Will. Will's not touching this one. But what we did, we took this out of our plus 100 playbook as well, which we went over on Thursday. Mark Andrews 3 receptions. Lamar 1 passing touchdown. Baltimore Ravens, I had to take it plus 4.5. So the line has been moving over the last few days in favor of Baltimore, which knock on wood is hopefully good for us. But I know the plus 100 playbook on Thursday had them at plus 6.5 points, which obviously you would like better. But this morning I had to get to that plus 101. I had to get it down to plus 4.5. So as we said, we never really like to take the result, and but this is one that we want Baltimore to win. We're betting with our hearts a little bit. I've got a little bit of money to play with, $10 to win, potentially 13.25. So hopefully that hits, and then we're ending the weekend in a good spot.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good bet right out of our playbook. Took a couple points off the Ravens, but hopefully they
Mm-hmm.
win comfortably.
Yeah, yeah, that's the hope. And then the last thing we'll say about kind of what our plan is for today, this is kind of what we got locked and loaded. Obviously, if our no sweat misses, we are going to target that Baltimore game to, for that no sweat. My plan is probably to do some variation of what Will was looking at with Derrick Henry, get some rushing involved, do something a little bit different to what I have with my boost. I don't know what his strategy might be to look a little bit more at what we had with the plus 100 playbook, but either way, we obviously won't do a video between now and then, but we'll target that Baltimore game, try to get to around plus 100 to get that $10 back. And then also, we're anticipating Bet365 usually doesn't let us down for these big games, some type of
Hmm.
super boost. And if it's a
Yep.
nice one, we'll probably jump in there as well. Will, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, kind of what we're looking for with the super boost, like we did yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what they're going to throw out there, but everyone knows this is the MVP matchup. So I would be shocked if it didn't have something to do with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, whether it's passing touchdowns or rushing yards, something along those lines. But if it is, as long as it takes it from a minus to a plus, I'm going to jump into it
Mm-hmm.
as soon as it shows up, and I'm super excited about it. A, because I'm going to be watching that game, and B, because these type of bets are what can turn me from a red weekend to a green weekend, and that proved true last with the UFC Super Boost that popped up, and I'm hoping the same thing for tonight. All right, thanks so much for stopping by and spending time with us on this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, whatever time it is for you watching this.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully on Sunday, in time to make those bets. We're really grateful for your support and being part of this journey with us. We're excited to see how our playbook plays out on paper, and can't wait to share the results with you. Transparency is key, and looking forward to our next episode. I think that'll be tomorrow, right,
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, we should we'll go on tomorrow morning, give a recap of the weekend, and maybe if we're looking good, we can dip into the college football championship a little bit.
Oh yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll catch you next time on the Bet Boost Brothers. Take
All right.
care.
Have a good weekend.